Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. Do not forget to subscribe at Elite City Pod on all social media, including YouTube. We're on YouTube now, so don't forget that. Please like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Two-man operation tonight. Well, man and woman operation tonight.
That's
we have
right.
Jay with us. What's up,
Yay,
Jay?
hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Special assignment last week, top secret mission. So that was fun.
How's that coming along?
Funny. That's all I'm going to say. Hilariously. Yeah, so this week, Rick's going on vacation and Biddy's still moving into her new house. And
Yeah,
it's
Biddy,
just us. And
Biddy's having some new homeowner troubles, so I feel for her.
That's yes. It sucks.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it doesn't suck that she bought a house. It just sucks that the hidden cost. Yes.
Everything is breaking.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because it can pass inspection. But then as soon as you sign the paperwork, it falls apart.
As soon as you buy it.
Yeah.
And Rick is going to go be radioactive in Rochester, New York. So
I don't even know what that means. So we have a big elephant in the room that happened in a meeting room this week.
That's right.
So we're going to hit this before we hit the main attraction here. Shane McMahon, of all people, had a meeting with, of all people, Toni Khan. That's absurd on a lot of different levels. Awesome. And I'm very interested.
Yeah, I like Shane McMahon. I just feel like he's not like the other McMahons. I mean, he could be, but he's never come off that way in anything I've seen him in on TV. I think it's pretty cool, and I feel like Shane probably doesn't have good relations with the McMahons,
considering seems like.
Considering like Paul and Stephanie, they are dug into everything, and then Shawn is kind of like running the show at NXT, Shawn Michaels. So what is there for Shane to do? I mean, and it's his dad too. His dad's was his dad's company. Correct. And all that. So like, what else would Shane do? I mean, I could see that's why maybe it's a little sour, and that's why he still wants to wrestle, still wants to be involved in the business, and maybe that's why he's speaking with Toni. Right. I think it would be great if Shane came just.
For that what factor?
The what factor, what? And like what? And I mean, not like in a ratings or like, because that's such a big talking point that I hate. But everybody's all about the ratings. Yeah. But I feel like I think Shane would be really good because he's been with a TV company and such a big company for a long time. It's the business he grew up in, and I think like he could really help because there are some wrestlers that come from the indies and they're just not quite polished for TV time yet. And I think Shane could be like really good to kind of, be guidance and make that kind of crossover into TV land from the indies and really kind of polish some people with their mic skills and things like that. I think he could do really well with that, kind of be a mentor in a way. I still would love to see him wrestle. Absolutely. Like every once in a while. I think it'd be great,
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. This whole thing is as absurd as it sounds. It is the most interesting.
Yeah.
And it like I'm not going to really go out on a limb here. I mean, everybody is basically speculating that it's more than likely going to happen. I understand in wrestling, well, not in just wrestling, in sports with contracts, things can change in a second.
Yeah.
But like
Rick's not here to pick on about that.
Right.
Younger.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be fascinating as a fan, like that's just the fact that there would be a McMahon in a non-McMahon promotion working and working for somebody else in a like the speculation that I was reading, this is just all internet speculation, that like he is willing to sign in any fashion, like as an executive, as a talent, as a trainer, like, and he's probably going to have one of those contracts where you wear like 26 hats, but just take all that off the table. Like literally
Right.
imagine if he just signed as a wrestler. Like
Mm-hmm.
his dad basically created the entire modern industry, and he signs with another company.
With another company.
That the company that his sister and brother-in-law still run exists. And he went somewhere else. Like that's the part.
I know.
Like
That family has to be so sour. Has to be.
Again, internet speculation.
Yeah.
People were talking about that he sent feelers out to WWE first, and they straight up told him no.
That's crazy to me.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah. If that is true, imagine like your freaking sister.
Right. Like, that's your family. And I mean, I know a lot of people don't always get along with their families. I feel privileged that I do.
Agreed.
But like when you have a business like that, especially when Shane was part of the business,
right.
It's not like he just was on the sidelines and was like, well, now I want in.
Exactly.
Shane's always been there.
Yes. And like, it's so, it's mind boggling how insanely cool this is.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be cool too is I know we talk a lot, like AEW has some like technical issues that they've run into with their live shows, and we've discussed, Rick always brings up they've been doing this for how many, a couple years now, 5 years or so now, and they still have issues with sound and video and things like that. And maybe also that's something like Shane could bring some knowledge and expertise to. Like I said, really just polishing the show all over in different aspects, especially if, like you said, he's wearing 26 different hats. He could be doing different things and running things behind the scenes, and he can, I think, really level up the show as a whole. So I think that'd be good to have Shane. I really do. Just not even like as a, like I said, like a wow factor. Just I think he'd be really good for the business itself, like for the company.
100%. Like they could sign him and you could never see him on television and you would notice, or you like, in that aspect of it, or, he could be on TV as a quote unquote commissioner or whatever, and you're going to notice, and you're going to notice it that way also. So yeah, that's a good point. It's more than, it's definitely not a lateral move for just a name. Like 9 times out of 10 in wrestling, all moves are like lateral. Nobody really gets like a huge promotion. And this one, you kind of hit the nail on the head perfectly. It's a big deal on every level.
Yeah, I mean, because he can do everything.
Yeah.
He can do it all.
Yeah, and just his contacts, like, again, this is just speculation, but I'm Tony Khan knows a lot of people in television also with being in the NFL, but I'm sure Shane knows a lot of people just because of Raw has been Raw has been on TV since I think I was in 7th grade when it started.
Yeah, Raw's been on TV for a really long time.
Yeah. I literally think I was in 7th grade when it started. That's insane. I'm going to be 45. Like that's how long it's been on television. Like
it was a few years back. They had like their 25th anniversary episode or something. Maybe a few years. I say that was probably like 5 years ago or so. So 4 or 5 years ago. It was before COVID.
Wow.
Before COVID, like, and then they had like no audiences or anything. So, that was like, because Finn Balor came out with DMX and did the 2 Sweet and all that. I want to say it was like 2019 or so. So that would, another 5 years. It's been like 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds about right.
You're like, yeah, I'm old.
Be more than 30 years because that would have made me 15 and I was Raw was definitely on before I was in high school.
Well, so then you're really old.
Yeah. No, I'm still the same age. It's just Raw's older than we think. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So it had to start in like 93.
Yeah.
92. So yeah, wow. Nuts. Anyways. Moving on, it is officially All In season, and that came up about pretty fast. It was just like, oh, all of a sudden, All In's here, and it's just seemed like we were talking about, like, I don't know, it was 7 months away, like a week ago. It just seems like it got here so quick.
Well, plus we had just had like Forbidden Door not too long ago, so that took some chunk of time up, and so we had some other things going, but All In, I guess, it's weird to think about All In's like right around the corner.
Yeah. MJF and Will Ospreay opened Dynamite, and they had AEW ran into a problem here. They're tried to get MJF to be the heel in the United States against a guy who they were trying to promote as the heel. Because he's British, and it just didn't work.
And it's going to be at Wembley, so like make sense.
Oh yeah, totally made sense, but it just didn't work, and the crowd was very confused.
There's just booing all around for everybody.
MJF tried to save it, like, he called the people idiots, and but it would just like, okay, he would boo them for that, and then Ospreay would say something, everyone's like, oh, he's awesome, yay, and they start cheering for him again. Like, no. It was funny, but kudos to them.
They're trying to carry it. It's hard. It's not really working out the way it's planned to. So
it was always like me and Brett. Not Brett. Me and Rick always talked about the Bret Hart situation. Like in Canada, no matter what he did, he was always just the hitman. Like he couldn't do anything because he was going to be the good guy. And when he'd come to the United States, it was easy for him to just be like, oh, the U.S. is stupid. Boo. Okay, everyone hates you. Well, I mean, what's he going to say that in Canada?
It's kind of like, so in WWE for a long time, there was Elias. He did the thing, Walk with Elias, and the guitar, and he'd come out, and he would insult whatever city he was in. And the last Monday Night Raw I was at was in Pittsburgh. And everybody knows he's a local. He's from Plum. And so he's trying to insult everybody. He's like, this town sucks. And everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's like, you all hate it here and you're miserable. Yeah. Like, he could not get a boo to save his life. He had to resort to one of the, oh God, what's his name? The stupid Steeler. Why can't I think of his name? That's not a Steeler anymore.
Stupid Steeler. That's not
the one that's always doing AB. He had to make an AB joke.
Oh,
to get any kind of response that he wanted, and like it was just so funny because everybody's like, "Yeah, it sucks here. We're miserable. Like this town sucks, but it's our town. You can't make fun of it. Like, and you're one of us. Like it was just so funny. Yeah, you can't work if you can't work the crowd. Like,
yeah, that's it was. I don't want to say it was hard to watch because it was fun hard to watch, but
it was very like cringy almost.
Yes.
Is that a good word for it? Yeah.
Like it was fun to watch it fall apart. If that makes
right.
sense.
It was very cringy. Like, where's this going?
Now, Kyle Fletcher comes in to make the save, which it kind of worked. Obviously, to me, it looks like the Don Callis family is going to fall apart.
Right. The whole this is my this is my best friend. This is my brother. You might be in they might be part of the Don Callis family, but this is like my brother or whatever he said. Yeah. I could foresee that falling apart like that. Everything being in shambles.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, that signals that Mark Davis is probably healing up, and that we're going to get a United Empire, full United Empire, and in AEW, which I want that to happen so bad. Now this is just my random question to you. Again, this is perfect storm scenario. Say they sign Shane between now and All In. Do you put Shane with MJF and say that the McMahon, like McMahon actually did win the bidding war?
Oh, that would work though with MJF too, because
exactly,
like because I feel like he's poking fun at Cody with the American thing, and
thank you.
I feel like he's poking fun at Cody, like in a really fun way with the jacket and the belt, and to put Shane and all that. I mean, because they could get Shane like on red, white, and blue, and I mean, it would be really funny.
That would be very funny.
Did you see MJF, like when he was bolting out of the ring, he like ripped his jacket in the back?
Yes. That was amazing. Yes, it was utterly amazing.
Just absolutely ruined his jacket, but I think Shane would work really well with MJF. I really think so. Because Shane was really good at being the heel in WWE when he did it. I mean, he was very good at it. Against anybody you like, here comes Shane, and just immediate boos. I mean, like, oh look, McMahon's like weaseling his son back in there again, like.
And that's what I was just gonna say. Like, they don't need each other, but they're both slimy enough that it would be so perfect.
Yes. Yeah, that would work for sure.
So moving on. Well, just out of curiosity, who do you think wins at Wembley?
I think it's gonna be MJF, just because, like, I don't know. I feel like Ospreay. I don't know how do I word this, and it has to do with their personalities and kind of like MJF, like his Americanifying everything. I feel like it's too soon for MJF to give that up. Does that make sense? Like,
True.
I feel like it's gonna just continue to like take motion and just like train, like just like a rolling train, like out of control. I feel like it's gonna get that far before anything happens.
And that's all. I'm okay with that.
Especially because, like you mentioned last week, or I think it was you that mentioned it, maybe it was Biddy, that it kind of fits the whole like American political thing right now.
Yeah, it does.
So for MJF to kind of continue this, it kind of fits like the political landscape.
That's true.
The country right now, like I just can't see Ospreay walking away with this time. I think it might end like it won't be a clean ending.
Oh, it's definitely not going to be.
There's not going to be a clean ending to this match. No.
Yeah. Well, see, it's funny that you say that, because I was going to say the exact opposite of you.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say Ospreay was going to cheat to win. Like, and it's like someone finally get one over on MJF. Like, I mean, Punk and Wardlow kind of did when Wardlow came down, took the ring off, and gave it to Punk. But that was like, you knew that was going to happen. Like, just a total, like, not even thinking about it. Like, the match is 25 minutes in, and he just grabs a chair and cracks him with it. The ref doesn't see it. 1, 2, 3. And people are just stunned. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. I could see it going that way too.
Yeah. And that's a million things could happen between now and then too.
Oh yeah.
Well, moving right along, we also learned a little more in the Swerve and Danielson build up. Danielson put his career on the line.
Yeah,
so
finally, Rick's title. Not here. There's a stipulation. Rick's not here.
Yes. There's 2 major Rick points that happened in the notes this week, and he's not here.
He's not even here.
The other one's during the Mariah May Toni Storm thing. So we'll get there. If this is really the end, if he's going to lose, I have a feeling he gets the Sting treatment between now and whenever he decides he's done. I don't think this is going to be his last match, but if he loses and he says his career's over, he's going to get the Sting treatment.
I feel like it's like the Sting treatment, or maybe like, okay, well, didn't he say like, I'll never wrestle again?
Yes.
Well, so that doesn't mean that he wouldn't still be there to do like developmental or training or thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Daniel, like, he's always going to have Bryan Danielson's always going to kind of have a role there as a veteran and things like that. And I feel like, so it's almost kind of, I hate to say it's kind of predictable, like it might happen that way. Because sometimes the stories in wrestling can be very predictable.
Absolutely.
But knowing what was going on with his contract and things like that, it just kind of makes sense. So, unfortunately, I kind of foresee this being like, his last big match. but I definitely agree. Like the Sting treatment, like, yeah, he's not going to be gone. He'll be around.
No. I agree. But I there is part of me that thinks he could win this. But I think they're going to run this a little different. By the way that they Swerve and Danielson cut that promo, and they like, I don't think there's going to be any like physicality between now and the match. They're going to make it very old school. Like, yeah, they'll be in the ring, but no one's going to throw a punch. It's going
to be a lot of words, a lot of a good promo. Yeah, very old school.
Yeah, and I just have that feeling they're going to run it that way. To make it that much more special, since that doesn't happen nowadays. You know, like guys or girls will be in the ring and then someone will get upset and blindside somebody. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be. This is a very compelling match on so many levels because, like, yeah, you want Danielson to have before he retires. But I don't know. Swerve's just such a cool champion.
Swerve's very cool. He's a cool guy. I dug his chocolate diamond chain on the show. I don't know if you caught that. I thought it's just so cool looking. Like, he's just such a cool dude.
Super cool.
He's very cool. And I love how he just kind of lets that little bit of crazy out every once in a while, just a little bit starts to come out. And I like the idea that, this will definitely be more like an old school, like talking promos, like smack talking each other kind of thing. Like, it's done so eloquently too. Like, rather than just being like, you're garbage and you stink. It's like, oh, like the way he said, like, you better watch, you keep your promises to your family, not to me, or something like that. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, this again, it was, I don't want to say it was like a sleeper feud. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be this like good. Just seeing them the first time. It's like, oh, we got a month of this now. Okay. Okay. I'm okay with a month of this. And again, I think you kind of answered it earlier. You think Swerve's going to retain. You think Danielson's going to go out at Wembley.
I think so.
I'm like
but
50-50.
It's going to be like I feel like though, but it's not going to be like a Danielson loss like quickly, or I think it's going to be like a really fair match. Like, it's going to be so close. It's just going to do him. I feel like it's going to do him justice for what like for how good that he is, and how long his career has been. I feel like it's going to be a very like thank you kind of to Bryan Danielson.
Okay. Kind of like a passing the torch to Swerve kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is a legend. He really is.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by far. I mean, he's untouchable. Oh, man, that'll be sad. But I agree with you. I think he, maybe not right away, kind of like Sting is doing right now. Like, he hasn't signed any coaching contract or any like mentoring contract, but I think he will, and I think Danielson will do the same. Danielson will end up being a coach or like working with rookies, like that's what I see.
I think he'd be really great for developmental things like
totally.
Because in also, again, another person with that TV time, and he's very polished, and I think he can provide a lot of insight for younger people.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to sound like I'm taking a jab here at WWE, but I'm not. I'm really not.
I know.
He was supposedly the one that was working hand in hand with Jade, and this is not a shot. I think Jade was a better wrestler in AEW. She's a better performer in WWE.
No, I don't see that as a dig. I think that's definitely a really good observation, because it's a different style of show and everything. It's different. It's all, and she just seems to do better there in that kind of environment, and that's fine. Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to like make it sound like I'm down on her either, like, because she's doing better there with her character and her thing. But I felt that I felt that she was a better, fundamentally sound wrestler in AEW. Again, nothing against the work that she's doing in WWE.
Right.
Now, if like you have to think about, like, she's going on close to a year now in WWE Jade.
Yeah,
correct?
I'd say so, at least, if not a year.
So like her career is only like 4 years old. So
she's very fresh. Yeah.
And you have to think she went from nobody knew who she was to she's now a big name in WWE and was basically trained by Bryan Danielson. So think about that. Like, I mean, you have to have athleticism and charisma, and you have to have all that too. But, you know, she was as green as it gets, and now she's like on a weekly main stage. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely see him being some sort of teacher, opening his own school or something. He's going to do something. I'm sorry, Bree's not going to have that much control over him. The wrestler's going to come out eventually.
I love too, like, he's such like a normal looking dude, and you know, like, Bree is a very very beautiful woman, and he just has like, he's like this cool guy, and he just has like this really hot wife. Because but I feel like also, like, you saw, like, you know, when Cena and Nikki were together, Nikki just is like a totally different kind of person. And that's fine, you know, but I just think it's kind of funny, like Bryan Danielson's just this guy, just this average guy, and he has a hot wife.
Yeah, like he's just an average dude. He gives all the average dudes a little bit of extra confidence.
That's right.
Well, where do you want to go first? Do you want to do Britt and Mercedes or Mariah and Toni? Because they're both very compelling. So I'll let you.
They are, but I like Toni and Mariah better. Let's save the best for last.
Okay. So we will go to we learned this week or last week that Mercedes and Britt were going to have a match at Wembley.
Yes.
And excuse me, I have the hiccups. And we saw Mercedes now has Camille under her belt.
Which that reminds me, that match, Camille, like another like women's squash match. Like, come on, Toni, what are we doing here? You know.
Well, I will say, much credit to Brittany Jade. Anybody that ever watched the old what were the YouTube shows called? Dark and Elevation. Like, I was probably one of like 200 people that knew who that girl was, and I was happy that she was on national television.
Oh no, definitely. And I feel bad for her because I'm like, oh, they're gonna squash her. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be a short match.
Some people are kind of down on what they did. Not on what they did. They didn't do anything. How they debuted Camille. That's what I wanted to say.
There you go.
I have nothing wrong with it. I think it's awesome. Like, she hasn't said anything. She just beat people up. Like,
I mean, that's what WWE did with Asuka, and like when she came from Japan.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. She didn't, well, because I mean, she didn't say much. She just, like, everybody was like afraid of her. She had like this reputation, and it worked out really well. And she just, like, she was undefeated until WrestleMania or something like that. So I think it's different. It's rather than having somebody come in and blah 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 and like MJF, you know.
Yeah, it was like, you know, I don't want to sit here and say I love everything that AEW does just because, but I thought it was cool because it was different.
It's different.
The announcers. Yeah, the announcers told you who she was. Now, if you were there in person, I can see, like, there were people complaining, like, I had no idea who that was. I get that. But, I mean, as soon as I heard Excalibur go, oh, it's Camille, I was like, oh, that's the person everyone's been talking about. I know who she is. I watched YouTube videos of her. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, it's so different to have somebody. I mean, people knew who she was, so it wasn't like a fresh debut, but like, to make your first entrance in a major company and just not have to say anything, that's pretty badass.
And it works along with one of those like actions speak louder than words kind of metaphors, because
Totally,
she's just
yes.
going in and she's just like brutalizing somebody like, hey, and it gives the idea like she's not someone you want to mess with in the women's locker room. It kind of gives, it's almost like she's kind of like that toughness, like bodyguard almost for Mercedes in a way.
And that's well, that's what I was just gonna say. That's the thing that I like too, that she hasn't used her as a goon. She's just like, oh, this is my pal, and she has my back. Like, this isn't like, oh, my hired help.
Right. She's not like, I'm gonna sick, Camille on you. Like, she's very much like, like, oh hey, let me introduce you to my friend. Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously, this is how you get Jamie Hayter back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now here's again the problem that we have with it being in England. As soon as Jamie Hayter comes back, I mean, especially if it's over there, which probably is going to be, place is going to go bananas. If she cheats and helps Britt win, she's gonna, they're gonna be baby faces. I mean, I kind of get that Mercedes is kind of a heel now, but she's not officially a heel. Like, she's just kind of one.
I know.
And then where does that leave Britt?
Right.
Like, does Britt cheat and then still be a baby face because it's England, and then you come back? Like, it's that weird scenario.
Right. It's kind of one of those scenarios where you don't have, I think maybe it would work out that you don't have a clear face and a clear heel. It's just it could work out that way, that they just really hate each other, and it's just building up and because it's just one of those things. It's not a black and white thing. It's everything's gray. I think like
totally.
that.
And am I the only person that, like, Mercedes needs to join the elite? I mean,
she would be so good.
Exactly.
So good with them. I mean, because she's all about being the CEO and money talks, and like, she just, the way she carries herself, she'd be so good with them. And she really would.
Yes. Like, and they could all be in the ring together. Like, just, it's like old DX, old NWO stuff. Like, it would just be awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, she needs to do it. All right. Your opinion, Mercedes and Britt, once we get to Wembley. Who do you have taking the crown here?
Well, now that you said you think maybe Jamie might come back.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, I could even see it ending like really dirty and just, I don't know.
It's tough.
That's tough. I mean, it could even end up like, maybe end up in a disqualification, and then it just, and it carries
and then
on.
Keeps going. Oh, I never thought of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like Jamie does something like really crazy. I mean, the pop would be great if Jamie came back. It'd be a huge pop.
Yeah.
I could see it being like a really dirty ending and just carrying on. Britt's covered in blood again, and just like kind of how they do that. But I could see this carrying on past All In. Like All In is just the beginning of this build up.
That's a great point. Everyone's under the impression that everything's going to end and we're going to start anew, but I never thought that. Have it continue, go through the winter. That would be fun.
I just like good storytelling. That's all.
Yeah.
I like a good story.
Well, that's the perfect segue into the final match that we know that is going to happen at Wembley so far. We have Mariah May and Toni Storm. And this is the second Rick thing that he has always referenced. And I wrote it down here. I did, because he's been saying this for a long time. The person that beats Toni Storm, it has to feel special. It has to feel.
He's right, though.
Yeah.
Because
it couldn't have just been anybody. Yes.
Toni has done so well with this character. Like, she came out with Betty Davis makeup, the eyebrows drawn on, and the big sad eyeliner, and the beauty mark, and the red and the lips, and and screaming like it was just straight out of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And I mean, she just came out like a mad woman screaming, and it's just, she has done so well with this character. I don't want to see it go. I just she's so
Agreed.
good.
It is
It's
very good.
so good. And I just love how she's becoming more and more and more unhinged. But I mean, maybe that's what breaks her back to reality. It just, I don't know. She's so good. That's why. I just think
Yeah.
she's so good.
It's been super fun to watch. And Mariah May, like I knew her name, but that's literally all I knew about her. I knew she was signed to Stardom and
Hmm.
and her name. So like coming here, like I knew there was some hype behind her, but I did not know she was like this good. Like, when she gave when she was talking to Renee
Hmm.
on Dynamite, and when she said in that interview, like, Renee asked her like what was next or something, and she was like, "Well, I've already been Toni Storm, so I think it's time to be Mariah May or something." Like it was
Yeah. Well, I love
such
how
a
she
great
said to
line.
Renee too, because Renee was like, "Well, why Tony? What did she ever do to you?" And she's like, "She didn't do anything to me." Mariah
Right.
said, "I've always looked up to and wanted to be Toni Storm," and she's doing exactly what Toni Storm would do. Everything is for personal gain.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why it's so good. And she's just getting so incredibly cruel to Tony, and it's just driving Tony more and more insane. It's so good, and
It's the
I
best.
don't want to see Tony drop the title because like what would she do next? Like what would she do next? But
I,
it would be cool to see Mariah take it because this has been building up and it's gotten
yeah.
really insane. Um I think we're going to see Mariah walk away with the title in this.
I I
And
think so
Tony's going to be
too.
like utterly broken and devastated. I think this leads to like broken Tony.
Oh, that'd be sick. Like almost like Broken Matt Hardy.
Right,
Like
right, right.
even
Cuz she's
more
going
insane.
nuts. Like she's
Yeah.
going nuts. Um
Oh man. Now see, like, this match is this is the one I'm looking forward to the most, just because it's the longest running story I believe
mhm.
right now in AEW, and it's the story of the year, the storyline of the year, excuse me,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I mean, it has
I
been the
agree.
greatest thing this
It's
year.
it's just so well thought of. I think it's just very creative. It's different. It's not a typical like you, most wrestling is like, yeah, I'm tough and I'm bad and I can beat you too and or like it just feels like we get a lot of the same stuff and I feel like
Yeah,
this is just so different. It's just so different and so out there and that's I think why it feels so special.
yeah, yeah, and it's literally a mix of everything. Like I think when it first started, I said something to Rick about it being like the most sports entertainment angle that like has been in wrestling
Mhm.
in like 20 years. But then like I thought about it, it was like so much deeper than that. Like, but it's so goofy, but
It's
it's
great.
literally everything. It's goofy,
Yeah.
it's deep, it's funny, it's serious, it's absurd, it's crazy. It's
Mhm.
literally everything.
It
It's so
is.
great.
I've heard rumor that RJ City was helping to write this, and it would make total sense being with
Totally.
like the Baby Jane and Betty
Yeah.
Davis and all that. And there's a lot of like old movies reference, and that fits RJ to a T.
Yeah.
So that means
Definitely.
we're probably gonna get Golden Girls by next year, or Mod, because I know he loves Mod.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick.
But she,
Th-
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this could lead to like Broken Tony, which would be really fun too.
That would
I
be
don't
great.
want her to give up the timeless character because she just does it so well.
Same here. Unless there's something else in the docket that we don't even know about that
Right.
could somehow be better.
I know.
Uh, like I don't know. As I said at the beginning, like All In felt like it was 7 years away. Now it's like here, and we only
Mhm.
know like 4 or 5 matches so far. Like there's
Right. There's
still
still more to
so
come.
yeah.
Mhm. Do you think,
Um,
speaking
go
of
ahead.
like All In, I meant to jump in earlier with this, but we were talking about like All In's coming. Do you think the Elite are going to somehow get their noses into something,
Oh yeah,
into
they
this?
have to. Yeah,
I mean, because
they're gonna
they're
wrestle at
the
Wembley.
AVPs or whatever
Yeah,
they call themselves.
yeah, they're gonna wrestle at Wembley for sure. Um, as to what they'd be, well, let's see. They're the tag titles. Who did they wrestle last year?
I don't remember.
I just don't want it to be like FTR for like the 6,000th time.
Right.
I mean, not that those are bad matches, but
okay, we get it. You used to, FTR. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody but FTR. And I don't know, but it's probably going to be FTR. I just saw they added there's a 3-way Continental Championship Eliminator match tomorrow. And I don't know if it's for Wembley, but the winner of that gets Okada for the title. So, but I said I don't know if that's for Wembley or not.
Did I see something correctly that Okada got hurt, broke his finger or something? Maybe that was somebody else. Forgive me. I could be wrong.
It wasn't Okada. Somebody did break their finger, but it wasn't Okada.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it was Okada for some reason. Never mind. Carry on.
I can't think of who it was. I just read that too, but it wasn't Okada. Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all we know so far for All In. So it's going to be fun. Do you have any closing remarks before we button things up?
I did watch yesterday, since that seemed to be a problem on Threads, but I'm sorry, I did fall asleep during Hangman and Darby because I was just so tired. I dozed off and I woke up at the end of Dynamite like, what just happened? Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable.
I did. I did watch. I know everybody's like, oh, you don't watch, but it's hard. I don't have cable, okay? Sue me. Half the time my thing doesn't work.
It's all good. All good. People have, real lives.
I know.
Pro wrestling isn't a priority in most people's lives.
I'm so tired.
I've been watching the Olympics nonstop. So.
I wish I had. I can probably get NBC. I have Peacock, and it's just my husband would be like, "What is this?" He doesn't really care for sports. So.
I've probably in the past 2 days watched 18 hours of Olympics. I just put it on and watch.
I love the gymnast drama. I live for that stuff. Because back in the 90s, remember the Nancy Kerrigan stuff and the my knee, that was the pinnacle of Olympics drama. And then 20 years later, here they are, the Americans and the Canadians are fighting over ice dancing. It was just great. Yeah. I love the Olympics. I do. I just don't have time to watch them. I work a full-time job. So, hey.
It's all good.
Right. And Paris is how far ahead of us? So it's usually during the workday things are happening.
Yeah, that's the one cool thing that I do like about this Olympics. I do get to watch a lot of things live, which you normally don't get to see during the Olympics. You usually have to wait till prime time and watch the taped stuff. But it is cool to watch the taped stuff when they edit it all together and you get so
you don't have all the weird in between stuff.
Like a volleyball match doesn't go on. Yeah, volleyball match doesn't go on for 2.5 hours.
I saw there was something that was called the gold zone, the red zone, and it's when anything's gonna happen. It's kind of like the red zone with football, and it's anytime anything's gonna happen, the end of a race or something, that flips on and goes to that. But yeah, I was a swimmer, so I love Katie Ledecky. Holy crap, she is amazing. I was a swimmer, and I couldn't do distance. I was a sprint swimmer. And distance is hard because you have to pace yourself because you have to pace yourself quickly. Not even just pace yourself to get all the 1,500 meters is insane. Because in high school when I did swimming, 500 was the longest distance you would swim. So 1,500 just is insane to me. Right. I mean, we did 1,500 in a practice one day. I mean, in peak season. So Katie's amazing. And the fact that she not even wins, she's seconds ahead. I mean, she's 30 seconds ahead. It's she's the only person in the pool. Yeah. It's insane. She's amazing. I just think it's awesome. I love Katie Ledecky. Love watching her.
Yeah. Is this going to be her last games? Because she's getting old for a swimmer.
Yeah, for an Olympian athlete like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, Anyways, that's enough Olympic talk. Yeah, we will be back next week with, I don't know, more updates probably on All In. Like, we were just trying to cover the basic stuff so far. Keep you up to date instead of just doing a recap on what's going on. So, yeah, we'll be back next week. Hit us up at Elite City Pod on all social media and YouTube. Remember, we're on YouTube now too. So you can check us out there. Give us a follow. Say hello. You know, we like to interact and interact with us. We'll interact back. And on that note, we'll call it right there. So until next week, we'll see you later.